So, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and clowns. To those of you who are improperly dressed, I'm joking, not necessarily as clowns, thank you so much for joining us tonight. We're very glad that you want to experience our world a little bit and learn a little bit about us. So we'll be happy to spend a few minutes talking about why we're here and what we're doing, and I'll ask a couple of my colleagues to join for that. And then we'll be joined by Dr. Pэтч Адамс. Actually, he likes to refer to himself as a clown who's also a doctor, as opposed to a doctor who's a clown. He is in Urbana, Illinois.
Не. Включить свет, пожалуйста.
Oh, I think he's not in Urbana, Illinois. He is in Urbana, Illinois. And he'll say a few words, and then you can ask questions of anyone here or him there, and we will facilitate. And if you're not comfortable in English, we can translate your question in Russian into English. If it's in Georgian, we can pretend to translate it, because it won't matter anyway. So please feel comfortable and feel free to keep us under control, because we are clowns after all. So my name is Justin Liflander. My clown name on this side of that planet is Jorik, because I didn't like my name as a child and I wanted to be renamed George, and so I translated that into Jorik. On the other side of the planet, Latin America, I'm Jorgito, same reason. And I've been clowning pretty regularly for the last 10 years or so, a little irregularly before that. I had the honor of starting my activity in a way that many people do. They first hear that Pэтч Адамс is actually a real person. They're surprised that it's not Robin Williams. And I wound up going to a charity ball run by Pэтch Адамс in Moscow, and I learned that he was real and he loves to come to Russia and this region in general. He's also been to Armenia, he's been to Georgia his last trip and so forth. But through him I got acquainted with this very wonderful woman who I'm about to introduce, who is his main partner in Russia. Her name is Maria Alexeyeva. Our main mission, and this is just one short correction of our image that I'll make, is the scariest thing for us to do is to walk into a place and see a bunch of chairs lined up of people waiting for a performance. We are not performance clowns. Some of the clowns do performances, and we'll do our best, but our main goal, as Pэтch would like to tell you, is to get into contact, to bring love close. If we make you smile, as I just did, and that's because I'm so charming, and I don't not as bad as I usually do.
I am also a doctor clown, to be honest.
Okay, good. So you know where I'm coming from. But if I make you cry, at least we've gone into contact. So it's about connection and going to places to people who don't get enough connection. That's what we do. And I think I'll leave it at that and hand over the microphone to Maria Alexeyeva, the founder and president of Maria's Children, a what do you say, national organization in the Russian Federation with unofficial branches in other countries, and including this fine country here. So I'll hand the microphone to Maria. Would you come up here?
I'm very happy to see here people who are interested in what we're doing. It's great, and myself, I was inspired by what Pэтch does. I heard of him from my friends, my Russian friends in Moscow. I was born in Moscow, and I heard of him, and I badly wanted to meet him. By the time in 1990, I already had for several years, my own project, the studio for the children at risk near Moscow, and I wrote Pэтch a letter using a dictionary. At that time, my English was like almost zero at the school level, and I had to do it really with the dictionary, and Pэтch didn't answer me. I wasn't surprised. It was like a month and a half after I wrote a letter. Then he called me from Russia when he came in November with a clown tour. It was already in 1991, it was an international clown tour. And the people were mostly from the United States, but some of them, just a few of them, were like from Australia and Canada. It were 20 crazy people that enter my art studio, where I was also teaching children from the orphanage. And I was like a child. I remember my feeling, and I couldn't believe my eyes, because it was like a group like that, but much bigger. And I was so impressed, and it was like to be in a fairy tale. And then Pэтч offered me to try to clown. And at the time I was a student of the Academy of Art in St. Petersburg, and I was going to go there anyway, and that's how I joined the clowns in St. Petersburg first time in my life in 1991. And since then I'm a big fan of what Pэтch does, and I use it with I'm an artist, but I use this as a tool, as the greatest tool I know, to get love closer with anyone, with the children, with adults that are just, we see the gray faces in Moscow metro, and at any time it's great if you are not afraid to be silly and to share. Just talk to people. It makes it much easier. The red nose is magical. And I love Pэтch, and since then, every year I started helping him and his team as a volunteer to arrange the visits in Moscow and St. Petersburg. And then, after years, one of my 5 daughters, and she's present here, is Anna Anchu. And she started helping, and she's so good at that, and I'm very proud. Another daughter of mine has an art space here that supports artists at risk and artists on the run. She does exhibitions here in Georgia, and I love this country. My grandson tells that he's a Georgian. He told me he teaches me Georgian, so it's a family thing now. Yes. Pэтч, привет. Yeah. One other thing I wanted to tell, that my foundation started because of Pэтch. He inspired me. One time on the bus, after visiting my first visit in the orphanage, he told me, I was crying, literally. I couldn't leave the boy who was holding my neck and telling me, take me out of here. And Pэтch said, don't you want to, because he knew I already have a studio for the children at risk, 3 children. He said, don't you want to start working with the orphan children and do something? And I started. And then I met a genius person who became my husband, Itsili Segalovich. He was the one who was the brain of Yandex when Yandex started in 1995. And he died on the 2013 of cancer. And all I do now at that other scale than I started with a group of 8 orphans. Now I have 30, and we do international things with them. We go to the places where people suffer, and we do what Pэтch taught us, plus we paint hospitals and orphanages. We now, second year, we're painting the hospital in Georgia. So it's all because of Pэтch, that he encouraged me, and he changed my life, actually. So I wish that you have such teachers in your life, and that this is one of the chances. And thank you for being here.
We see our friends in Urbana have joined us, but they're going to listen patiently. We see Susan, Pэтch's wife, we see Pэтch in the middle, and Mark on the right. But we have a couple more words we want to get through before we hand over to you guys. You okay with that? Yeah? You good on time? Yes? Nod heads. Good. Thumbs up. Very good. So I'd like to just ask my very old friend, not my friend who's been my friend for a long time. She's not very old. She's actually quite young. Marlene, to join us and say a few words, because she's one of the most experienced administrators around that I know.
Thank you so much. My name is Marleen van Os. I come from the Netherlands as a clown. They call me Pluk or Marlenka, depends where you're from. I've been on about 42 foreign trips abroad. And on one of the first trips with Pэтч to Moscow, or actually to Moscow in Russia and St. Petersburg, a woman walked into the bus and shared her story. And I think it's very important to know why we clown and why it's important. So she shared her story that she was visited as a kid in St. Petersburg. She was in a hospital for children with TBC in the bones. And she was there for a long time. It takes a long time to heal from that, and many, many operations. Originally, she was from Siberia, and her parents were not able to visit many times. So she was there mostly alone. And she's in bed, and then some foreign clowns come by with colors, balloons, fun, magic, but she couldn't understand a word of what they said, because they speak English. And so she decided next year, when I'm still in hospital, I will be able to speak with these clowns. And I will teach myself to speak English with them. So she studied for a whole year, and then when the clown came back, she was able to communicate to the clowns. But then when she healed and she was better, she could leave the hospital, she was able to get into a better school. Yeah. And she was able, because she was able to get into a better school, she was able to get into a better university. And because she was able to get good education, she could get a good job. And because of that, she can provide her children a really good education too. So when we think we clown, I feel it's like throwing pebbles into a lake. And we never know how far the ripple effect takes it. And most of the time, as clowns, we're not able to see what effect we have. But I also think we have to be optimistic, hopeful, and maybe a bit naive, that we have a good, that we spread good things in the world, even if we don't see it. So, thank you so much.
When we do our Q&A at the end, we'll get plenty of time to pepper us with questions. But now I'd like to introduce Guy. He's one of our most magical clowns on his umpteenth clown trip, and he's going to say a few words about his experience very quickly.
Thank you, my friend. Thank you, my friend.
Yeah.
I mean, thank you, Pэтch. It's like, I'll keep it short, I promise. I was listening to Maria's story, and it's like mine. I wrote to Pэтch one day. Humor healed my life. I didn't know much. I didn't know about anything about clowning, but I wrote to Pэтch. In his videos, he always says, "Write to me, and I'll answer you." So I did, and he said, "Yes, laughter can change your life, but you should try clowning. You should come and join me in Guatemala." I was scared of flying, I didn't speak Spanish, and I was never a clown. And that first trip changed my life. And since then, each trip I've been to, I don't want to list countries, I don't want to impress you, that's not the point. But the point is that there is magic in this world. It's a beautiful world, and Pэтch has opened, the first time I opened my heart, and then when I saw Pэтch, I said, thank you for opening your heart, opening my heart. And he answered, Guy, I didn't open your heart. You open your heart yourself. And this is what's been happening on every trip. Now I'm blessed here to be in Tbilisi, and continuing the tradition of giving forward. This is why I wrote my book, of which Pэтch gave the preface, wrote the preface, because spreading the message of love, that love is possible, healing is possible, and my message, like the message of Pэтch talk about a love revolution, and I agree with that, and I would like to give a healing revolution, that each of you is possible to not only change your life, but also change the world. I love you all. Thank you. You are all amazing.
This book is available in the store with your autograph, I imagine,
Yeah,
right?
just come and see me.
Just come and see me. And last but definitely not least, I have a very important, salacious announcement to make, and that is that it turns out Pэтch actually has a child here in Tbilisi. Even though he was only here once a year ago, it seems that he gave birth to this very beautiful, slightly more mature than an instant infant woman sitting in the front row, you know, who started her own local foundation for doing hospital clowning. So let me give you the microphone. Come up here, please.
Oh. Thank you very much. Thank you. First of all, thank you very much for inviting me here. This is such an honor. And Mr. Pэтch, thank you very much that you came to our life through Miss Maria Yeliseva and her amazing daughters and our friend Miss Ria Keburia. Last year we got introduced with Miss Maria and her amazing daughters, who due to whom we got introduced with Mr. Pэтch Адамс. My name is Nina Bolkwadze. I'm so sorry for my dull clothes, but I have an alternative life where I am a lawyer. But in my heart, I am a diligent and decent doctor clown, to be honest. I have founded my charity fund, Laughter Therapy, 3 years ago with my friends, Miss Natela Potsleria and Mr. Andro Ciccinadze, a very famous Georgian actor. We knew about Mr. Pэтch Адамс from the movie, and we would never ever imagine in our life that someday we would get in touch and get introduced with Mr. Pэтch Адамс. And this happened due to Miss Maria and her daughters and my friend Miss Ria, who introduced us with Miss Maria and her daughters. Before I retell the story of our charity fund, I have to mention one fact. Currently, there is a very bad political condition in our country. There is a serious mess in our country. I'm not gonna say any bad things about government or opposition or something, as I am a doctor clown inside my heart, and I have to spread and I have to follow the path of Mr. Pэтch Адамс, and I'm not gonna say any bad thing about anyone, but our partner, Mr. Andro Ciccinadze, and our co-founder, Mr. Andro Ciccinadze, has been unlawfully detained and is sitting in jail. It's been 4th month because of the free speech and his attendance to the demonstrations of Georgian government. And thanks to Miss Anya, Miss Maria's daughter, we got in touch with Mr. Pэтch Адамс, who gave the recommendation to Andro Ciccinadze, and in one day, whole Georgia was talking about Andro, that Mr. Pэтch Адамс stood with him. Whole country, all news. Mr. Pэтch Адамс was in the news of all Georgian media last week due to Miss Anya. Thank you for this. So this was a huge help from Mr. Pэтch Адамs' side, that he is standing with Andro Ciccinadze, and he has been unlawfully detained, a very talented actor, just because he was standing at the demonstration and protesting some specific thing against our government. So I have to mention it. I had to mention that my partner is a professional now, but as I will move to the activities of our fund, so this is a great honor to be the part of the project which has been invented by Mr. Pэтch Адамс. Yesterday I watched the movie about Pэтch Адамs, and I cried once again, and I felt such a huge pride. And I could never even imagine in my life that I would be involved in such a big thing due to Pэтч Адамс. I would be helping a 10-year-old Nia, a kid with cancer disease who has lost her vision, for example, and who cannot eat anymore. And due to our Dr. Clown, she started eating. She started getting up from the bed. She started fighting with her disease. She started singing, and etc. Due to our Dr. Clowns, so many kids have been improved, and most of these kids have been abandoned by their parents. For example, in Tsitsichvili clinic, you had been there and you had made some paintings in the hospital. In Tsitsichvili clinic, so many children have been abandoned by their parents, and our Dr. Clowns go there almost every day, and due to our Dr. Clowns, these children started talking, started learning letters, started distinguishing colors, started singing, and etc. Day by day, they are trying to live like normal children due to our Dr. Clowns that has been inspired by Mr. Pэтч Адамс. And thank you for everything. Thank you. Thank God for getting introduced with you, Miss Maria, and helping us to get introduced with Mr. Pэтч Адамс. And I'm really very honored, and I think that all of my life, I'm 35 right now, and 3 years ago I had a serious depression, and I had been thinking that with the purpose I have on this earth, who I am helping. I'm not helping anyone. I'm just a lawyer doing a job and making money, and it was like such a very commercial thing. And I was not helping anyone, and I was sitting in front of the psychologist and telling her that I am not helping anyone. And apparently laughter therapy and the Dr. Clowning came into my life all of a sudden, and I understood that that was a sign from the God, which I had been asking for a long time, to have the opportunity to help people. And that is due to Mr. Pэтч Адамс, due to you, Miss Maria, due to you, Miss Anya, and etc. Thank you very much. Sorry for having the
Thank you so much, very beautiful and inspiring for all of us. And with that, we return to our guests in their, I guess, what is morning or early afternoon. Can you hear us?
Yes, we hear you.
Okay, and we're here. And so, if you get a quick glance at the audience, we'll just let you know that your faithful band of clown trippers is here. You can turn on the lights, maybe, for a second. Some lights? Good. So we are confirming that the clown trip is in progress. And we'd certainly like to hear your benediction, if we can keep to religious terms for a moment, and your thoughts. Even though you're not with us, you're obviously with us. It's impossible to cross the town in a 20-minute walk without causing traffic jams and honking and cheers and hugs, just because of the hype that you got last week and people remembering you from last year. So thank you for that. We had a great walk over time. And so, please, Pэтch, the microphone is yours.
The microphone is mine?
Yeah.
I want to say one thank you for your love and your care. And Justin, thank you so much for playing with us. And nothing I do is complicated. I'm a nut. And you are nuts and out there loving people and playing with them. Every day is going to be wonderful. And it's been that way for me, really, for 50 years.
Wonderful. Well, definitely the room is filled with nuts and wannabe nuts and future nuts. So it's like a nut salad, basically, here. Very good, very good.
And be sure that I wish I was there with you, clowning in Georgia, knowing that Justin is there. I know everything is perfect. Ha ha,
Maria
Justin.
and Marlene and Anya and the whole group.
Maria and Marlena, yes, these are playmates I have loved for decades.
And I can't help not asking, Pэтch, you have a new facial hair style. I've noticed. Has everybody noticed that? look at the whole the mustache has gone wild there. Yes, yes. What can you tell us? What's the logic? Did you run out of razor blades, or is it some kind of philosophical thing going on here?
Well, I started to grow a mustache years ago, and it just seemed like there it was, pushing out on my face. And I've had fun with it, and it seems to increase the absurdity.
Well, but you now see, I have a problem because in honor of you, I'm just going to show off my tattoo. I got the mustache and spread joy tattoo, which if you want to copy for a small patent fee, I can let you copy this. But now you now have a little bit of a beard thing, and I don't have the beard thing on my tattoo. So what do I do? Are you going to keep the beard and I have to expand the tattoo, or are you going to shave the beard? That's my primary question here.
Well, the nice thing about the size of our bodies is we can go crazy with tattoos. That even a big one doesn't take up too much room.
Okay, all right. I will keep your advice in mind.
You know, the tattoo is just there as an introduction to nuttiness.
It's working very well. I've met many nuts in recent days. Marlene is making faces. So good. So here we are. We've got some of your fans in the audience, and I think we could move to some questions and answers, which I imagine people have. I mean, you might, perhaps you want to do a short version of your story, because although it's available in print and film, people would love to hear a couple of variants of the story from you, perhaps in person, and then we could move to Q&A.
Well, I'm 78. I'm right now with my beloved Susan and dear friend Mark, and of course you, and Marlena, and you know, I guess a basic truth is, why not consider everyone a friend?
Good logic, good.
I think he wants to open it up to questions of the people there.
Yes, why don't we do that?
Okay, yeah.
If you're here, you're
You can
probably
ask any
familiar with the
question.
Pэтch Адамс story and so forth, and you're welcome to ask some questions. And I know Pэтch loves to talk. Pэтch will always tell you he'll answer any question, as personal as you wish. It might be you get a more personal answer than you want, but you will get that, and you will enjoy that. So please, particularly the new clowns and new friends who are thinking of becoming clowns, hiding in the dark there a little bit before work, I see you. Please think of some questions, and Pэтch will be very happy to answer them. So,
camera so we can see?
Yeah, can we do a little pan there into the audience? Can you put these lights on?
There is a microphone for the ones who want.
Yes, it's here. Can you press it? There is a red button there.
Yes.
Hey! Morning, Fred.
So I'm willing to come to you with the microphone. Right, but we want people to introduce themselves, and right behind you.
Yeah.
Just say your name and
Hello everyone. My name is Artem, and I'm glad to be here to see all these fun faces. And my question is to Mr. Pэтch and everyone who wants to join in the answering of this question. So we are all people, and sometimes we are in a bad mood. And my question is, do you have any go-to recipe for getting into the right mindset to work with people, to work with your patients? So if you can share any advices. So
how to be happy? Question. How to maintain
that? Yeah. In short version.
Very good.
Yeah.
Very good. What's your advice for people to be happy?
Well, lots of color and lots of toys make it easier to clown. And certainly friendliness and giving up your problems for fun. That's the short answer.
And if you want the answer in Italian, it happens to be written on my official Pэтch Адамс t-shirt issued by the Italian branch. Any Italian speakers or readers here? Maria. Come.
Il gesto più radicale che l'essere umano può compiere è quello di essere felice. Pэтч Адамс.
And what he's saying is basically that the most radical thing you can do is to be happy. Meaning it's not so rare that you find so many happy people. But I've seen, Pэтch, I don't know if you remember when you came to the Anglo-American school in Moscow. We did a gig there. It was many years ago. And one of the little students said, in a far more soft way than you said, Mr. Adams, what can I do to be happy? And Mr. Adams, remember this? He went up to the pupil and said, do you have food?
Me?
Do you have food?
Right now I don't have, but in my refrigerator.
Do you have friends?
I do.
Okay. Do you have a roof over your head?
Of course I do.
Then what do you
I'm
have
happy.
to be unhappy about?
Of course, and I'm thankful to God for that.
God or whatever.
Do not have it.
And it's about appreciation. Pэтch, do you want to talk a little bit about appreciation?
Well, duh. The late guy lives 12 hours. I'm 78. And I started clowning in my late teens. And it's been so much fun, I haven't stopped. And it really is an invitation to friendship, and I answer all my mail. I feel like the luckiest man in history that Susan loves me.
Then you turn your camera. Oh, she just ran off. She got shy there for a minute. All right, we'll get her when she comes back. All right, that was Susan who was just running off. She's a very humble lady. Okay, good. Some more questions, Marlene?
Yeah, somebody has a question?
So this is going to be more for the clowns here, but Clown Dr. Adams, thank you very much for your work.
Can you tell us your name?
Sorry. My name is Ish. I'm an American. I teach English. I also host improvisational theater here in Tbilisi for the last 3 years. So for the clowns gathered here, I was wondering, just a show of hands, how many of you have a background in education? So a few of you, 3 or 4, in performance and in medicine. Okay. I mean, for those that didn't raise their hand in those fields, I was kind of curious if there's a common career among any of you, for those that didn't raise your hand out of those 3 fields. Are any of you in the same industry, or is it very vast?
We have we've learned today the proper term is not street walker, but street builder. Iron street builder from the Netherlands. We have a dishwasher from the Imperial Hotel in Tokyo. Doctor, finance. For nonprofits. Very broad. The answer is no. There's no.
Okay, then no commonality.
No commonality.
Maybe just a bit weird.
And as a teacher that doesn't make lots of money, I'd like to get involved.
That teacher makes lots of money?
Money over, so to not any money.
I'd like to get involved and also do things like this. When I was in China, I was able to donate time at a local orphanage there, the Dalian Children's Village in Liaoning province, which is probably in desperate need of encouragement. Is there anybody that might have some particular advice on not being able to travel? Okay, I'll reach out to Nino after.
Nino will be happy to give you some advice of how you can also use your energy and your love to be more useful.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. For more questions or just comments, proposals?
Maybe Pэтch talks a little bit
Pэтch?
about clowning.
Could you give us, while people are contemplating their inner thoughts here, could you give us a few more insights on what advice you would give to clowns in general and people thinking about clowning and so forth? I mean, about connection, and I already did the bring love close thing with my nose to one of the unfortunate victims in the audience here, but could you give us your wisdom on becoming a clown?
Well, duh. Love life and decide to exude it in your living. So, I think one thing you can do is to, when you see a group of people, look for somebody who feels left out and go join their club. And it's not complicated because you say hello and your eyes sparkle and your body welcomes them, and then you play. You know, play doesn't have A plus, B minus, and this sort of thing. Play has a way of being that is enjoyable to just about any age. And what's fun is that if it's not enjoyable, there you can attack with fun and play, and very few people can resist.
Do you clown at the grocery store?
I basically clown wherever I go. I love life. I love that at 78 I feel 30.
And the example Mark was giving you a hint about, let's say you go to a grocery store and there's a mother having a fight with a child. What do?
Well, I think in a grocery store, for most people, everyone is a stranger. So you can, in an adorable way, say attack. If somebody is treating their child poorly, dive right in and play with them. And play is such a big word. It includes all behavior that is welcomed by whoever is there.
Can you tell us what do you have in your pockets right now?
What's that?
What do you have in your pockets? We want you to show us what's inside your pockets. This will be an indicator of what
this is just the stuff in the left-hand pocket.
Let's start with the left-hand pocket. You will now see the secret information about what is in Patch's left-hand pocket.
So here's a real favorite toy.
What is that?
One thing in the pocket. Here's a whoopee cushion because farting is loved everywhere.
These folks should write down that phrase and that item available on Amazon or whatever the Georgian equivalent is. Whoopee cushion and farting, very important.
And then I open my little container and here's some teeth. Here's a booger.
What is that holding in your hand, Patch? Please tell us.
Etc.
What is what you were holding in your hand just now, please? We're not letting you slide.
And we're still looking in the pocket.
What about the fake snot that you just had in your hand? Please tell us about the fake snot.
So here's a clap sound.
I don't think you can hear. No, I think maybe you can hear.
Or there might be a significant delay.
Yeah.
And that's just one pocket with lots of toys. And you can use them on elevators, you can use them wherever you are, because they don't interfere with your work or play. And you can have any toy that you like to play with. You know,
why don't we ask some of our clowns here to describe some of their toys that they've been using this week, and you'll get an update on what's new and hot on the clown market, on the front lines of clown work. So why don't we go around and ask our clowns what toys they've been using. We'll start with the front row here. Kate?
A little music box, a little wind-up music box.
And what does that do for you, or your customers?
It's a way to go into a quiet zone with a child or an adult who needs a zone of connection that's quiet.
Nice, very good. Will?
I've got a music box as well, and a little ball. It's always handy to play with, and some balloons.
Engaging connections. Good. My arm is getting tired. Let's pass that down over here.
Oh, thank you. I got I have a little teddy bear which the kids loved, and also like a squishy ball. Closer. Okay. Hello. I have a little teddy bear which the children loved, and also a squishy ball which you could throw around. And with my head, we could basically play catch, where they throw in the ball and then they switch. It was great. And also bubbles. I was surprised how they freaked out every time about our bubbles in a positive way. It was great.
Connection tools. Pass that back to Peter, please.
Peter, Dominique.
Close to your mouth.
Yeah.
I cannot speak English.
He makes connections by cleaning people.
Yes, of course.
Very good. New friend. Very good. Okay. Very good. And now we have the famous Pignon.
Who's not a clown?
I'm not a clown.
It's just here.
He's just here making origami, showing fish, bananas.
What could the famous Debka tell us about making connections? What kind of tools is she using?
I love to use bubbles and pretend like I'm eating them.
Hungry American, very good.
Yeah, I have this magical thing.
Pэтch, can you see your lovely goddaughter rolling something on her smooth, silky arms?
Michelle,
they didn't get a chance yet.
I like music, so I have my harmonica. Rhythm, I have my ukulele, which is also my clown name, Yuku. And my favorite one is Chuchino, who can make people laugh 100 meters away.
Wow.
That's magical.
Long distance clowning. And Pэтch, can you see this gentleman who's appearing now on the screen in the far corner there? You haven't seen him in a long time. Clown Chip from Baraboo, Wisconsin.
Baraboo, Clown Town. Hi, Pэтch. Hi, Mark.
Hi.
What's the question?
The question is, what are your latest tools?
Oh boy.
What are your main tools?
I have juggling balls, I have a kazoo, I have bubbles, I have magic tricks, and my silliness. My silliness is my #1 tool.
An amazing Russian language.
Oh, and my Gavaruta по-русски, да, perfecto. Меня зовут Чипский, это клоун, я не понимаю по-русски, and that's it.
Yeah,
very good.
Debbie? I would like to say my biggest help in everybody's is that we smile a lot.
Yeah, and of course the nose, because without a nose we look like we ran out of a psych ward. And with the nose it gives some context that we are actually clowns and we have a kind of an idea of what we're doing.
And what's your latest tool,
I have a few. I also have that beautiful magic. It's a wait. Can you? Yes, assistant. Thank you. I will show. Oh, sorry. Very nice. Thank you.
And I'll round out this session with something you heard before. I think I know why. Are any of you Star Trek fans? Star Trek? No. Okay. So there's a creature on Star Trek called the Tribble, which purrs and makes noises, and my step-grandson tried to take mine away. I said, And instead I bought him one of these. It's a laugh button. And I turned it, because I'm a teacher, I turned it into a laugh lesson machine. So I become the laugh teacher, and I go to my customer and I say, now you have to repeat. Very good. And I give you a grade. 4 or 5.
Can I add something?
Yes, please.
Because Patch, on my first clown trip, oh sorry, I have to stand here. On my first clown trip, Patch gave me and my Dutch friend Kees mouth spreaders. And basically, it's a dentist tool. Also, pretty dish. I have adjusted it a bit. And Patch, how often do you use your mouth spreader as a clown? Quite often, right?
Yes, many times.
Probably in the other pocket, isn't it? You only got to the left pocket before we interrupted you. It's in the right pocket, isn't it?
And you hand them out as gifts. And I think you drool on people too when you use it, if I remember correctly. Mark is laughing. Yeah, I guess so, right? But yeah, I use, oh wait, I'll show you guys. I use the balls to get a similar effect, and it's magical, especially with teenage boys. I don't know why. They just like to see my balls. Thank you for this amazing skill I have. And also, like with the mouth spreader, Patch taught me how to put my mouth a bit out sometimes. You know, it's just fun. It's just fun. Yeah. And if you find adult men, you could ask them for a cigarette. Impossible. Impossible to smoke. So yes, yeah. Thank you. Thank you for the mouth.
But on a serious note, there's one thing that Patch taught all of us, and I think he'll confirm this. Because the first time clown will come on the first day and say, I don't know how to clown, I'm nervous, I'm afraid. And Patch will remind them that nobody knows that. So when you walk into a room and you look nervous and afraid, they think you're clowning. And you are. And that gives you the confidence plus the nose to carry on. Is that a fair summary of one of your key initial teachings, Patch?
Yes.
But I'd like you if you can remember, because if you go with Patch a lot into places, there's always someone who wants to do the selfie with Patch. And Patch has very specific rules. Can you remember your rules about doing selfie with you? What are the 3 options you might offer a person to do a selfie with you?
Question. What options do you offer to people if they want to take a photo with you?
Well, if it can happen, I want to do it.
Very strict rules. Don't deceive these people here. Some of them know, but I believe you require either the finger deep in the nose. None of this, I mean, she's just being polite right now. It's got to be deep, yes, digging in the nose, or the mouth spread. You can eat that and then spread, yes, perfect, thank you very much. And then I'd really like you to get out the fake snot again. Particularly because I'm not there and you can't put it in my mouth. But can you show us the fake snot and how it works? It's in your left pocket, you showed us. The fake snot. Don't pretend I'm making this up, because then I could get...
What are you talking about?
The fake snot patch. Don't let me down. It's in your left pocket. I'm getting nervous. I didn't make this up. It has fake snot. I hear the box opening. Maria, by the way, will not go on public television with Patch and his fake snot. She takes it away from him. There it is.
Look, we get an extra view.
The intimate view of the fake snot. With tongue action, folks. Is this being recorded? We need a YouTube video of this. Oh, that is just exciting and disgusting at the same time. Think about it.
I love to lower it in someone's mouth.
Yes. If you ever want to selfie with Patch, those are your 3 options. But again, here's the really beautiful reason. Why does he make you do one of those 3 things? Patch, let's see if anybody in the fans here know why they have to do one of those 3 things if they want to take a picture with you. Anybody want to guess? Feel the vibe. But you have a picture. Let's say you are lucky enough to be like me and have a picture of Patch's fake snot in your mouth with Patch hovering over you.
To have fun when you're looking at the photos.
Exactly. And what happens? Let's say you're a little bit depressed. This is better than any kind of psychoanalysis or antidepressant. Is you whip out your fake snot, cheeks better, finger and nose photo with Patch, and you smile, and those endorphins get going.
Justin,
Yes.
there is another option for a picture, and I think maybe Patch can tell us something about it, which is the world's largest underwear. Who have you had in your underwear, Patch? You've had many people in that underwear. You've shared a lot of people.
I love group photos in the large underwear. You can get more than one pair to have more people in your underwear. So you can wear a little pair of underwear on your head while you're wearing the big pair on your body. So there are lots of opportunities.
Yeah, I think there were some presidents in there too.
Rafael Correa.
President Correa of Ecuador is one president inside the underpants. So, just be indiscriminate.
For sure. And you had about like 20 people at one time in the underwear, I imagine.
Well, that's an unusual size pair of underpants. But there's no such thing as a pair of underpants that doesn't have room for another.
Very good. Thank you. All right, we have a question for the audience. Can you tell us your name?
Hi, my name is Alec. You told us that nobody knows how to be a good clown. How to clown. That's your phrase. But
if you don't know how to clown, you don't have to worry about it, was my point.
So I'm curious about what is an improvement for a clown and how do you say that you became a good one?
How do you know when you've achieved clowning?
Yeah, what is good clown for you?
Well, in your case, I would say much more colorful clothing. And it never hurts to have a booger.
Booger is another synonym for snot. This is a large booger hanging from Patch's nose right now.
And it's still there.
And it's still there. But in essence, you're saying make the connections. When you make a connection, you're clowning. Our kind of clowning.
And
What's it know a good clown? How do you know it's a good clown?
How do you know
when is a clown a good clown?
How do you know you've accomplished clowning connection?
Well, I mean, in the world where people are tight-assed, I don't know what they would call a good clown. And sometimes that person specifically should be attacked by a goofy clown. And you know, if you wear silly hats and have boogers hanging from your nose and different kind of mouth projects to hang in your mouth, and just continue on from there, you'll find the right thing for the person who's going, I'm not really a clown. Because they're always kidding. There's no such a person who cannot clown, no matter how weird they look, or dress, or want to not be a clown. That sometimes can be a master clown.
So clowning is achieved through connection, which is achieved through colorful clothes, interesting things hanging from your nose or not, and other ways of coming into contact with people.
Yeah.
Yes,
And
yes.
the most unexpected person can be the best clown.
Do you have an example you want to share with us?
Yeah, maybe like I'm sitting in tall dress and I'm a Dr. Clown. Yes.
We help a little bit.
No, but I also think the clown is a friend to everybody he or she meets. So the clown is, for me, a fool, open to any experience, and every person becomes their audience, and he respects the audience always, and tries to find connection through friendship. I think for me that's a big part of it, and to be a good clown is to look for friendship wherever you come.
Maybe some more questions or comments? Yes, please. Alec, don't be shy.
Oh, I have a... Yeah.
I'm not familiar with your story, unfortunately. Can you share with us what you were looking for in the youth when you decided to become a clown?
Well, for me, I was a weird kid. And there were macho, angry men who liked to hurt kids like me. And so one of my first movement towards clowning was to be a fool, so that they wouldn't hurt me. And you can really play and engage with each person to see when what you're doing is a good thing to do for that kind of person.
And then so if you're a kid, you were weird, clowning or being funny helped protect you, but then what happened after that? How did that become clown?
You were suicidal at one point.
Well, one nice thing is that as soon as you really start clowning, you see that far more people are affected than you originally thought. And so maybe you hear the phrase, the whole world is a stage. And so you can give up your boring clothes to colorful clothes. You can put things in your pocket to add to your playthings, and you can even play with things. You can go to a butcher shop and get a stomach just to see how a stomach operates in play.
A real actual stomach.
An actual stomach. Or, I mean, what would you do if you had an actual penis and testicles and something in your hand? You could act like you feel privileged to have it, or you can act like it's really weird shit. You can play with it.
Certainly no limit on your options here. Alec is not giving up. Good for you. Keep at it.
I'm just really interested in this conversation. So, are there any edges for a clown?
Ages?
No, edges. Between you and your...
Limits for clowns.
Like, you can't go with penis and testicles to some person.
Maybe not to a kid.
Yeah, sure.
Even to some adults.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on limits in clown?
Boundaries.
Well, if you want to hurt somebody, that itself is a boundary. Clowns don't want to hurt somebody, even if their clowning in costume is looking like it hurts them. You'll often see that they tame up. And you could as a joke, you could go from wearing a really weird hat to wearing a very straight hat. And then act as if it's really set you straight. So look at what you do, play with it, and realize that you have your whole lifetime to stack up uses of things.
Yeah, for sure. Can I add something? Is that okay?
Can I ask you to stand over there so he could see you?
I was
Marlene wanted to add something.
Yeah, I want to add something about that. When you say boundaries, so respect your audience is the most important thing. So, for instance, if you walk into a hospital room and the kid clearly doesn't want you there, you can respect that. You don't. It's not about ego thing where you have to be there. You can just use it for play. Like, really, you really want me to leave? And then you use it into play, and you accept what the kids give you. And the clown is really a person or a character that accepts the here and now. So when you talk about boundaries, it's respect the audience and respect what they give to you, and also use a bit of common sense, of course.
And Pэтch has had challenges with these issues. We invited him. He was on a clown trip to Chechnya. And that's a very conservative society, and he's not so used to being so conservative, and he enjoyed showing his naked legs in the market, in the public market. This caused some problems. I would say some life-threatening problems, and we're very glad that Pэтch was able to escape unscathed. But for many years, he wanted to join us in Ossetia on our regular trip to Beslan, where we do a lot of work. And Maria and the whole team had some doubts that Pэтch was ready for Beslan, to control his urges, to expose himself. But in the end, he behaved very well in the local market. I remember getting off the bus with him and him pointing to an advertisement of a young couple embracing. It was for clothes or something. But look at them, they're showing affection. And I said, well, showing your naked legs is not necessarily a form of affection, and Ossetian society is a little more conservative. And he put the pants back down, and we had a nice walk through the local market. So it's about feeling those boundaries, right, Pэтch?
Yeah.
Yes, we have one more question there in the back from each.
Clown Dr. Adams, I was wondering about the movie, because of course screenwriters embellish for entertainment, about how much of that movie starring Robin Williams do you feel was accurate, and about how much was Hollywood, yeah.
Well, to tell you the truth, a clown knows that whatever the movie is doing, you can add it to your repertory. And it did. I mean, one thing it does, because movies are so powerful in our society, you could increase your foolishness and it would all be explainable.
So it set a standard. It set a standard, is what you're saying.
And I love to increase my freedom. And the movie on your life does a huge amount of increasing your freedom.
I can say, I've heard Pэтch talk about this many times, one of the things that frustrated him is, if you recall the last scene, Robin Williams is sort of dancing on the hilltop next to the free clinic. And that left people with the impression that the clinic was working and didn't need any help, and indeed it did need help, and Pэтch feels that kind of caused some limitations to his future fundraising ability. But he also, I once did a project with him of editing many of the letters that he gets. and 99 out of 100 letters, which is probably 99 of the 100, which is maybe 50 divided, whatever. People here would say, I was inspired by you in the movie. So many particularly young medical people say that, and I believe he told you were at an event in Israel where finally they watched the movie with you and you realize again how many people you inspired with that movie. So even if it didn't have the perfect effect for you, but in the end, you were thankful for the inspiration. Is that a fair summary?
Yes. Lots of words.
Right.
Yes.
And I think we're going to wrap it up now. If there's no other questions, anyone? And we're going to invite Guillaume to shut us down. Why don't you come up here?
Okay.
In the light.
In the light. Well, it's actually a good segue with what you just said, Justin. The idea that we've talked a lot about Pэтч clowning, but one big inspiration was his wanting a free hospital where everybody would be having the same basic salary, either doing hospital work, doctor work, or just housework. So can you tell us, Pэтch, about this vision, this dream you had about free hospital?
Well, to tell you the truth, I've been a free doctor for 50 years, and I like a 3 or 4 hour initial interview for an official interview, and it always amazed me that in my medical education, there were times when you were a doctor, and then times when you were a normal person. Where for me, I never saw the separation, and never wanted to go to the separation, and to I found it, especially at the beginning, it was very unusual for people to know that they didn't owe any money. And that one of the things I found out that was a surprise is that by being a free doctor, I could go almost any direction I wanted to and think of it as medicine. I am a juggler, I am a clown, and I use those things and try to think how to use those things as a medical doctor. What I found amazing when I became a doctor was how few people actually loved life. Their own experience of life was an offering of how they loved life. Because it was unusual. I mean, to tell you the truth, why the hell aren't you having fun? Because, the mayfly lives 12 hours. So it has to stack up a lot of play in 12 hours and then it's kerplop. Where we get 12 hours in the course of 1 year. You get twice 12 hours. And so, in a way, when you decide to be a nut or a clown, it opens up a giant storeroom of possibility. You don't have to wear boring men's clothes anymore. In fact, why would you wear boring men's clothes? And you don't have to behave politely. And I actually found misbehaving to be much more welcomed by most people than well-behaving. So, and one of the first things I did as a clown was to start living communally, because then you had more than one person to reflect on. and to influence you. Everyone is a little different. So if you lived with 12 people, wow. And it was a big wow and continual wow.
Great. And to end with what we would say in Russian,
Could I speak
reklamная Pause.
From the position of being introduced as
hi,
Patch's
Susan.
wife? Hello, this is Susan.
I was about to talk about you, so
it
you talk
is
about
a delight to be the wife of someone who is crazy. There's nothing else to be said, that if they're this crazy and they want to try anything, then you know you've got a wonderful person to be part of. And with me, I'm a sort of serious person, and I think, well, we shouldn't do that, or maybe the government doesn't want us to do that. But Pэтch takes the other side, which is that we shouldn't do that. Let's do it. And very often women are not thought of as the ones who go, okay, that's wrong, but let's do it, or that's wrong and then let's do it. But I want to encourage women to think that we also can be absolutely crazily obnoxious and make a difference. So, hi, everybody.
Thank you, Susan. And part of the advertisement is that Susan and Mark run the School for Designing a Society, which is a very interesting organization that promotes societal change through a performance, and she cooperates on clown trips. And if any of you are interested in a really wild time in the United States, I'm sorry to use those two words, but they have at their site where the hospital eventually will be. The hospital's not built yet, but they do have a number of retreats that go on, especially in the summer, with wild names like Laughing Body and other ones. And just go to patchadams.org and you are welcome to attend them, and you can see some of these wonderful characters that are on the screen there with you and by you. And having participated in some of the workshops that they do on clown trips, I can confirm that they're very interesting. So go to patchadams.org, sign up, and think about traveling there and spending time with them in their true playpen, including the mud pit, which I've heard a lot about but have not sat in yet. So on that note, I think we'll...
Doubt you can always moon.
We can do mooning. Mooning is an important part of the clown experience. These clowns are not aware of that yet, Patch. You've just kind of blown our cover. But we have another more than a week with them to produce the famous clown mooning shot, which will be sent your way to make you smile and Susan smile and Mark smile, and know that we are keeping the tradition alive. So on that note, I think we'll wrap it up. I want to thank both our friends sitting in Urbana, and I will see you soon, and Chip will see you soon. Chip's going to join me for part of my visit with you. And our friends here in Tbilisi, and wishing you all the very best. Thank you, everybody. Have a good night.
Turn it off.
Give our best to Andro.
Construction. No,
He doesn't do asphalt. He does